Hello, welcome back to Canadian Goose Studios. Today we are going to rank all 23 Marvel movies. So, let's get right into it. Okay, let's talk about, we're going to be going from 23 to 1. So, let's say 23, The Incredible Hulk. See, this movie is so bad in many, many ways. One of the worst movies I have ever seen. It doesn't really connect to the MCU. Like, for some reason he lives in Brazil. The villain's pretty bad. I forgot what he is. The leader guy, like Mr. Blue, he disappeared right away. It's just so bad in many ways. The fight scenes are also bad. The visuals. I think this film is probably one of the worst movies I've seen, and definitely the worst Marvel movie. Coming up next in 22nd place is Thor: The Dark World. I almost said Thor: Love and Thunder. Haven't seen that. Thor: Dark World. This movie was easy to see what was happening. It didn't hold with Thor Ragnarok. Hell, there was not much comedy, no cool colors. It was like lightning. It's not that cool. See Wonder Woman riding on lightning in Star Wars. It's like, so Thor: Dark World, you can tell what's gonna happen. And if you went to theaters to see this movie, I feel pretty bad for you, cause was this movie ever pretty bad? Definitely is one of my favorite movies, but it isn't like the worst movie, but it's pretty close to the worst Marvel movie. You know, like, it's just not a fun movie to watch. Watching it once, I guess that's fine, but watching it like 5 times, I don't know who you are, but yeah. Moving on, 21. So, for 21, I'm gonna say AntMan and the Wasp. AntMan and the Wasp was just a weird movie. The visual effects were very strange. They were just weird. And it came right after a huge movie, right? Infinity War, like one of the biggest movies. And you just make that film, AntMan and the Wasp, which doesn't make any sense. Like, I guess it was funny for some scenes, but then the villain, like, somehow he connects to Doctor Doom now. I don't know. He's pretty bad. He doesn't do much, actually. Just wants the lab. Ghost, she's pretty lame. And AntMan and the Wasp was a really lame, bad Marvel movie. I don't know. It's just not a movie I would recommend to watch. And when people say, like, I'm watching all the Marvel movies, I say, do not watch AntMan and the Wasp. It's a complete waste of your time. So, yeah. Coming in number 20, we have Iron Man 2. Now, Iron Man 2 can be a good film, like good, but then can be a bad film at the same time. Like, sometimes it can be good, like that car scene, that's a good fight scene. But then you get the scene where they kill Whiplash by using their power of repulsors to blow him up. Like, that's the worst way to kill off a villain. Like, I don't mind Whiplash as a villain, but they just ruin him by killing him off that easy. Yeah. It just had some stuff that need a little fixing to it. He was a Russian villain. I know we're getting that in Black Widow, but actually I don't know if Taskmaster is a Russian villain. He might be. But, yeah, Whiplash is a good villain, but Hammer, isn't he played by Sam Rockwell? I think so. Hammer is annoying. I like Sam Rockwell, like in Jojo Rabbit and stuff, but, just Iron Man 2, man. You know, had some decent action. So, you know, moving on. Number 19. Thor. Now, Thor is a movie that might have been exciting back in the day, like Asgardians going off on quest to stop the ice golem people, or whatever they're called. Frost giants, sorry. That might have been cool back in like 2011, but now it's not very cool. It's like every other movie. The visuals are pretty good for that time. I don't really like the character with the glasses. I thought she was a bit... I didn't like her that much. And you never know. Some people are good, some people are bad. She was pretty bad. Moving on. Yeah, moving on. Number 18. You gotta think. Captain Marvel. Now, the first time I saw Captain Marvel, I thought, wow, this is really good, like in theaters. This was a really good movie. I was very surprised. Because when I saw the trailer, I'm like, this looks like a piece of shit. But when I heard about Captain Marvel, I thought, it sounded like a good movie. But, yeah, I was a bit tricked. And then watching it for the second time, I'm like, okay. Watching it for the third time, okay, this isn't very good. This isn't awesome. And I was like, oh, it's just a prequel. There were some good jokes, but it was very predictable. Some of the bad actors, I just don't like that scene where Captain Marvel goes in the dream world. Who she looks up to is like dancing like the jails. It's just not something that I like. I know it's the first woman superhero Marvel movie, but it wasn't awesome. And I think Black Widow should have been the first woman Marvel movie, because that looks badass. So, from that, we're going on to number 17, which would be Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, Avengers Age of Ultron is, you know, not a really bad film, nor is it bad, but it holds too much inside of it for just sort of a smaller movie than like Infinity War and Endgame. Like, Age of Ultron's a small movie, but they put so much into it. Like, Quicksilver got introduced, and then he died, and then we have Scarlet Witch, which I think that's fine to just introduce her, but then we also get Vision, and he's like kills Ultron, right? And has this ultimate power of holding Thor's hammer. Like, they put a lot into it, which I think they should have slowed down a little bit. Like, maybe add Ultron up, which I know they sort of did, but maybe add him up a little more from, like, Iron Man to, like, Winter Soldier at least, and see how far that goes. But other than that, it was a pretty good movie. It's enjoyable to watch. You know, it's not like not like Incredible Hulk. It's like, I'll watch it, I'll see it like 3 times. That's a pretty decent amount. So yeah, Age of Ultron. Moving on to number 16. So let's say Doctor Strange. Now, Doctor Strange is a slow movie. It should have been released earlier in Marvel, like maybe in 2014, in that year. But it is really good. I gotta say, from 16 to 1, these movies are really good Marvel movies. I'm not, because it's low back, I know Doctor Strange sounds like a bad movie, but it isn't. So Doctor Strange is really good, and you know, people think it's sort of like Iron Man and stuff, and I sort of do, but not really, because Iron Man has like tech, and he's this rich billionaire. Well, Doctor Strange isn't rich all the way. He's a surgeon, he gets paid well, but he's not rich, and it's magic, like, that's very different from tech and magic. Very different things. So, Doctor Strange is good in many ways, but Dormammu as a villain, and the guy who he's possessing, I guess, is not a very good villain. That's why it's kind of low down, because the villain is like kind of forgettable and just not very good. Like, say they're powerful, but it's not real good. But they got a really good cast for this show, and, well, not show, movie, and I think they did pretty well. Like, I think releasing it in 2016 was a decent time. Like, it's not as bad as releasing it like 2019 right before Endgame, like Captain Marvel. Like, no, Doctor Strange got released at a decent time, I gotta say, but it could have been better. And the movie could have had more multiverse stuff, but that's what the second one, Multiverse of Madness, had that this one will not. So, see how that one turns out, right? So, there you go. Number 16 will be Doctor Strange. Number 15, Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, I know, I did release a video that, I did rank these, but yeah, I wasn't very good at ranking. So, for Spider-Man Far From Home, it was way up at number 5, and watching it again and again, because now it's out on DVD, is not as good as I remember as watching it in the theater. Like, it's still really good, but, like, it's a bit slapstick comedy, which, you know, it's suiting for Spider-Man, but it's not my favorite thing, and I just didn't like that as much as Spider-Man Homecoming, because Spider-Man Homecoming is really good, like, very good. But Spider-Man Far From Home, you know, has the very different movies. Like, they switched them up. Like, for some reason, Spider-Man, well, no, I know this, Spider-Man Homecoming, he wants the suit, but in Spider-Man Far From Home, he doesn't want to wear the suit. It's like, it's not that big of a difference, because he's been dusted away for how many years now? 5 years. So, you know, Spider-Man Far From Home is good. I think the cast is awesome. Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, perfect choice. I think Mysterio is the best villain. But with the story, and no, not with the story, sorry, with a slapstick comedy, they could have made the comedy better. But Yeah, the story is still good. The part where the drones start attacking is just kind of too far, you know. It's good, you know. I don't know. A lot of people think Spider-Man Far From Home is the best Spider-Man movie. I do not think that. I think Spider-Verse is. But just because Spider-Verse had unique animation, but this one is just like every other Marvel movie, every other superhero movie. You know, there's a problem, he's gotta fix it, he gets the girl. It's not very different from the others. So, yeah. Number 15, Spider-Man Far From Home. Moving on, number 14. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 had really good stuff involved. Like, the music was good. Got that. Baby Groot. No. Did I like him as much? No. Baby Groot sorta took away from the actual movie. It tried to do what the first Guardians of the Galaxy did, which is pretty hard because I love the first Guardians of the Galaxy. But they tried to make it like the first one, which you can't do. You had to make it new, all the way new and original. So I'm excited for this third one because I think they're gonna fix everything that sort of stuck out. Like, Teenager Groot is awesome. I love him. He is unique. But Baby Groot isn't very good to me. I don't like him. I like Baby Yoda, but not Baby Groot. Yeah, the visuals are pretty good. The costume design. The Golden Queen I hate. I think they should have got someone else to play her, maybe. I don't know. It just, the Golden Queen isn't very good to me, and I think they should have done something else with her or got a different villain, because she sort of just appears and ruins the story. So yeah, the golden people doesn't make sense to me. So that was number 14. So moving on to number 13 would be Black Panther. Yeah, I think so. Black Panther. See, Black Panther, I used to put it not as this high on my list, but now it is, because I realized that that movie is very different from other Marvel movies, and, you know, it's good. I know, like, some famous actors have only seen Black Panther, and I'm like, oh, wow, okay. But, you know, Black Panther had some good, fast action. Except that end battle with the CGI. That was not good CGI. That was halfway done. Just like cats. Panthers are cats. Look at that. Look at that. But Black Panther had some good colors, actually, and had a really good story, I gotta say. But that final battle, and I think Claw should have been a much bigger character than he was, and half of the story revolved around Killmonger, not T'Challa, Black Panther himself, which kind of wasn't awesome. So that was number 13, Black Panther. Number 12, The Avengers. Now, this movie did something that no movie has ever done. It brought all these different characters from franchises and stuck them together, which I think is incredible. For the time, I did not see that, because I did not see Avengers in theaters, because I was young then, and I wouldn't get it and like it that much. But now, when I'm older, when I watched it, I did like it a lot, and I think, wow, the villain, Loki, I think he's one of the best villains. I think he's better than Thanos, you know. I think many people are, well, a couple people are better than Thanos, but Yeah, Loki's definitely one. Loki can turn good, but also turn back to evil. He's mischievous. Yeah, Avengers has some great action. The CGI isn't the best, and I don't think Thor looks that good in that one. Like, I didn't really like him in this one. He didn't really stick out as much. But, you just gotta go through with it as a movie. I didn't like. I think Iron Man is a really good character in it. I think the story is pretty good. It's Loki and he goes to Earth and he's trying to make an army fall on New York City. But I think that is like every other big blockbuster movie. It just revolves around New York like Ghostbusters. They're trying to stop a monster, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, trying to fight huge armies. It's all around New York, and New York or London, it's always around there. And I just think, can't they do something original? Like Hobbs and Shaw, they fought on Hawaii, they fought in London, they fought in all these different places, and I think that is good. But Avengers, they just fought right on New York, and they could have made it more interesting. Much more interesting. And I hate Captain America's costume in it. I love Captain America. I think he's like one of the best heroes. But that costume, I don't know what they were thinking. So, it's just wasn't awesome. Well, no, it wasn't awesome, but it was really good. Still, there's good action. So, for number 12, The Avengers. Just like 2012 when it came out. So, moving on. Number 11, Avengers Infinity War. Now, after I watched this in theaters, I was young back then, I'm guessing I thought it was the best movie I had ever seen, because when we went back into, like, the car, it was, like, silent. What happened? Is that the end? Is that what happened? Which has never been done before in a Marvel movie, or a superhero movie in general, because DC is like... So, everyone got snapped and just like, what? So that was pretty good. But going to Titan, I just didn't like that part. I don't... It just felt a bit slow to me. It felt different, which was good, but it was so bad, because I did love Avengers at that time. I was really excited for this film that had been adding up, but now I watch it and I'm like, this is what we were excited for? This is the big movie we got after waiting 10 years. Is this worth it? Is this worth it? But, it was a good movie, but, waiting that long, deserves much longer time, like around 3 hours and 30 minutes to make that good of a movie. Gotta make it good. You gotta, that is like one part. Like, Drax was also quite annoying in it. I like him in Guardians of the Galaxy, but not in that. He's really annoying. But mostly, it was a good movie, I can't say I hated it. I can't say it was bad. Gotta say, it's probably really good. It was really good. There's movies out there that can be bad, but that one was definitely really good. You know what? Before we move on, let's talk about the good stuff in it. 10 years to add up Thanos, that is good. But doing the movie itself, what about Captain America's beard? We haven't talked about that. That beard is awesome. It's wicked, I gotta say. I don't know why he cut it in Endgame, but still, I want to see that beard. That beard was good. Scarlet Witch having to destroy Vision's stone to stop Thanos, like, that was good. But then Thanos turned it back, you know, like, what? So many funny jokes in it. Squidward. I gotta say, Tony Stark and Doctor Strange banter. They should have made a spin-off between those two. Sadly, they didn't. It would be called Strange and Stark, just like Hobbs and Shaw. But yeah, number 11 would have been, well, it is Avengers Infinity War. Would have been what? No. So, moving on. Number 10. I gotta think about this. Right. Captain America Winter Soldier. Now, Captain America Winter Soldier has really good fighting and really great music. Like, when the Winter Soldier appears, it plays like sort of Mandalorian music. Like, Winter Soldier is a very good villain, very dark. And I think he was a different villain from what we got from the last movies. And that's when Marvel started to get really good, actually, at least when Captain America Winter Soldier came out. Because then it went to Guardians of the Galaxy and all the other movies. But yeah, Winter Soldier, the fight scenes were great. The villain was one of those things that Robert Redford, you know, I don't know his name in the actual movie, but he was a very good villain. Compared to, like, Thanos level, he definitely wasn't the best villain. And that's why Winter Soldier wasn't, like, the best film, but it was really good still. You know, I don't have much to say about this film, because you should watch it for yourself, see what you think. But, yeah, most of what I said is all true, right? So, let's move on. Actually, all of what I said is all true. Yeah. Moving on, number 9, Captain America the First Avenger. Captain America the First Avenger, when I saw it for the first time, which wasn't that long ago, I thought by watching it would be pretty bad. But when I saw it, I love this film. Like, this holds so much. Like, I love that, the villain, Red Skull. I do like him as a villain. But you know, one thing that stood out was that this could actually have happened. I know it didn't, but most of the stuff seemed pretty real. Like, big guy, well, buff guy, it's not true. So he was little, right? And then he got big and buff, and I think that can happen in like 1940 or whatever year that was, I don't know. And he fights in the war, saves some of the teammates, and I think that could probably happen in real life. Like, it seems real enough compared to like space battles and stuff. This one seemed real. Seemed like a true story. It wasn't true, but you know, except for the part with Red Skull and him with a space stone and stuff like that. But you know, the other stuff could have happened if, you know, we had the tech back then or something. But yeah. So moving on, number 8. Iron Man 3. Now, I do like Iron Man 3. I know most people are disappointed with the Mandarin, but we're getting him again, so yippee, Shang-Chi. But I thought Iron Man 3 did a really good job of bringing back Iron Man from Iron Man 2, because that one wasn't awesome or anything, but Iron Man 3 was really good. I do love it. Like, the final battle, that was awesome. That was like one of the best parts of the movie. The villain was not awesome, but he wasn't bad. Like, he had all this fiery power, and he was like, pew, pew, and Iron Man. You know, what's her name? Pepper Potts, yeah, her. She shot him and killed him pretty easily, though, so that was a disappointment. I wish they had a pretty good battle. Well, they did have a good battle. It just, if we got to see a better way for him to die, which we thought he was dead, but yeah. But it's kind of an adventure film and a Christmas movie, which I think is funny. The only Marvel Christmas movie is Iron Man 3. They go, like, Iron Man goes to all these different places, you know. He goes to the snow place, whenever it is, I don't know. He's back at home. He goes to a construction site. That's where the final battle is. Like, and then he goes to fight Mandarin, which looks like Hawaii or something, tropical island, wherever that is. So there are 4 big places that he is. So, you know, Iron Man 3 holds a lot to it. So, okay, next, number 7, we have Iron Man. Now, I used to think Iron Man 3 was better than Iron Man. Sorry. But now, looking back, I think Iron Man is better than Iron Man 3. Just because Iron Man started all these Marvel movies, right? And Iron Man also is a different Marvel movie. Like, it's a bit unrealistic also, but for the start of it, it kind of is realistic. Like, the end is definitely not, but the start is. And the final battle I didn't really like that much. I thought that was pretty lame. But him going to, like, the desert or wherever to show off his missiles, and then he gets shot down and gets locked up in a cave. I think that is pretty good, you know, like, that holds a lot to one story. And then he has to get out, and he uses the silver Iron Man suit and his Russian friend to get out. So, you know, Iron Man 3 had a lot. Why did I say Iron Man 3? Iron Man had a lot, and the villain was definitely not good. Like, he wasn't awesome, but, you know, I don't really like him that much. Like, I like the actor, he's in all these westerns and stuff, but him in the movie, he's a good celebrity and stuff. But the movie with him, you know, wasn't awesome. But in the movie, I did love. So, Iron Man for number 7. Number 6, we have Spiderman Homecoming. Yep. Spider-Man Homecoming is a really good movie, you know. Has a lot, well, not really a lot to it actually now that I think of it. There's the Vulture, and the Vulture is a really good villain. I really like him. He just wants to get money for his family because he doesn't have a job anymore. And Spider-Man knows that he's doing illegal stuff, so has to stop him, right? But stopping him is a bit hard because his girlfriend is the daughter of the Vulture. I think that story all connecting into that one part is amazing, how movie writers could do it. Who forgot the director, whoever he is, Sean something. You are a really good director, and I hope you make Spider-Man 3 as good as that one, you know. Spider-Man Homecoming even had a Howard the Duck Easter egg inside of it. Like, I don't know. John, I can't remember his name. But, Ned is awesome. Ned's like the best character in that movie. Tom Holland, really good as Spider-Man. I really do think they should never take another Spider-Man away and try redo it. So, let's hope that he stays as Spider-Man. Right? Number 5. Good. Yeah, number 5. Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy was a really good movie. That was the first Marvel movie I saw in theaters, and just in general. I didn't know what I was going into because I never saw the trailer. So I just was going to see this space movie, so I'm guessing I thought it was like Star Wars or something. But going into it, I was pretty excited. And when I came out, I was really happy with that movie. I really liked it. And I still do really love this movie. It is so good. Like, the music, great. The cast, great. Sort of the start wasn't very good. Like, the guy's head getting crushed or something. Ronan's hammer. Now, I don't mind Roden, or whatever his name is. But he's not, like, the best villain I've seen. He works for Thanos. Thanos got introduced in that one. And, like, he's put the stone in a hammer and that was his weapon. No. Like, put it in a knife, buddy. See what that does. But the scenes where they go to different places a lot, which I do love about space movies. And yeah, like, there's some really good stuff involved in this movie, and once you see, like, them in space, it plays some nice tunes, and you can sit in your chair and relax, right? Like, great movie. Nothing much bad, except I already told you about, like, the villain and stuff, but usually it is the villain that takes away from the actual movie. Yeah, except the visuals, they could have done a little bit better with it. But the costume design, that is wicked. Wicked. I think this is a kick-ass movie, Really good movie. Moving on to number 4, Ant-Man. Now, I know you guys are thinking, whoa, this one's really high. Why? Why would Ant-Man be so high up on my list? Well, because I think I saw Ant-Man second. That was the second Marvel movie I watched, and I really loved it. It just was so good. Like, Paul Rudd as Scott Lang, Ant-Man, was really good and funny. I think he's really good. Michael Pena is so funny also. Michael Douglas was a good cast. Yellow Jacket was actually a decent villain. I liked the train battle at the end, that fight scene. That was really good. That was actually funny to watch. And then Thomas getting big, and that fight scene in the briefcase when they're falling down into the pool, that was good. That was a funny scene. A lot of scenes are funny in Ant-Man, and Ant-Man is just one of those movies you can watch over and over without getting bored. It's so good. And I don't say anything much is bad out of the film, unless we're talking about, like, some of the scenes don't really, like, need to be in it, but some are good, some are really, really good. Like the scene where he turns the sheep into mush, that's funny, but it didn't really need to be in it. But still, very entertaining movie, very good plot, great cast, really good movie. Just some of the scenes were... Okay, and moving on to number 3. Whew, we're getting low now. Okay. Number 3, Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok is a really fun movie. I remember hearing about it, but I don't think I was allowed to watch it because we hadn't seen a trailer or anything. But when we did, we saw that it was a funny, funny movie. And after that, I saw the movie and I loved it. And a couple of years later, which is this year, I learned about Taika Waititi, who plays Korg, and how many great movies he's done. What We Do in the Shadows, Jojo Rabbit, Hunt for the Wilder People, Boy, he's doing Free Guy, he's doing this sport movie, and he's gonna do Thor Love and Thunder. Like, he's doing well. He did Mandalorian episode 8, which I love. This is going really well with Taika Waititi, and Thor Ragnarok was just a really funny Thor movie and one of the best Marvel movies. One of my favorite movies, actually. Well, not like top 10 or anything, but still one of the best movies. Well, one of the best movies 2017, of course, but yeah, really good, really funny. Hela's a good funny villain. She's just not like, I should have explained a bit more about her, but still, I think it's funny. And great cast: Tessa Thompson, Chris Hemsworth, Kate Blanchett, Mark Ruffalo, Taika Waititi, what's his name, Jeff Goldblum. So many funny, great comedian actors in it. And you gotta say, Thor Ragnarok was a great movie. Like, really fun, but sometimes it went a bit too fast. Even Doctor Strange was in it, like, a bit slower, but really good. Maybe a bit longer it could have been, but still, really great movie, and I really liked it. Now, we're getting close to the end. Number 2, Avengers Endgame. Now, you're probably guessing, wait, what? Shouldn't Avengers Endgame be your favorite? No, but it was. See, Avengers Endgame is a really fun movie to do, because it's like so long, like 3 hours long. That's a really decent time compared to Infinity War. It's like 20 minutes more, which is really good. You know, the action scenes, like the final battle between Thanos, well, not final battle, but like second final battle between Thanos, Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America. That is a great battle. Hawkeye trying to get the Infinity Gauntlet somewhere. So many things add up to this one final battle where Avengers assemble, and it's so good, so very good, and I definitely recommend it as a movie. One of the best movies I've seen. Just so very good. And like Captain America lifting up Mjolnir, that is great. That before I thought, but that was good. Fat Thor, he is funny. That is funny. Not Spider-Man Far From Home funny. Thor funny. Taika Waititi was even in this as Korg, of course, and they're playing Fortnite, which I think should have been Minecraft, but okay. Nothing much bad about this film. I just like this other film coming up more, because much better memories. Though, you know, not much better, but better memories. But yeah, Avengers Endgame was really, really good, and I definitely recommend it as a film, not just to watch if you like Marvel. But I don't know what Martin Scorsese thinks, but Marvel is cinema. Okay, now, moving on to number 1. Captain America Civil War. Now, you're probably wondering why this one. Because there are really great memories. I remember going to see it with my friend just after school, and it was so nice. And then I watched it with my mom, which was on a rainy day, and it was nice watching that again, right? And I just think this movie was really fun to go along with, and introduce Spider-Man, Black Panther, and Ant-Man finally got introduced in like Avengers style. Like, he was with Avengers, and they all had to fight to get like Captain America and and Winter Soldier to the jet so they can fly off. That is good. Like, this movie has some humor in it, has great action, like the fast action. I love that action. I've never seen it before, but I thought like all that cool stuff, that was great. Yeah, Captain America Civil War was such a great movie, except Baron Zemo should have been wearing his or Zemo mask. I think that's the one downer. Like, mostly everything else was great about it. Like, Captain America fighting with Iron Man, that final battle, that was great. So many things. Spider-Man was like the humor of the movie. I think maybe it could have been a bit longer though, just to make it better, but then it would have been sort of like Batman v Superman, where it's too long, so better not try to do that, which I didn't know that movie was 3 hours, Batman v Superman. But Civil War was a good time, and came out 2016. I was just so excited for the film. I think it was third Marvel movie I saw, I think so, and saw it right after Ant-Man, so the add up to Ant-Man, it was really good. So there you have it. My 23 favorite MCU movies ranked worst to best. So, all of them are so good, and some of them can be bad. Just like The Incredible Hulk and stuff. Yeah, it was a bad movie. But I'll be trying to do more of these reviews, like with Fast and Furious, Star Wars, all that good high budget movies. So this has been Canadian Goose Studios.